Hey, this is Roy Cannaday, and today I'm going to be taking a look at Tiny Epic Galaxies Blast Off. Alright, so I'll go a quick overview of Tiny Epic Galaxies Blast Off. So basically in this game you're going to be rolling dice, trying to activate different abilities here on the activation bay that allow you to do different things. Let you move ships, allow you to advance on tech planets, allow you to advance life, allow you to acquire culture, allow you to acquire energy, or utilize galaxies. Everybody's going to have their own little ship player board here that's going to have a couple things. It shows the resources for your energy and the resources for your culture here. You start with 2 of your ships unlocked, but as you upgrade your civilization and your galaxy, you're going to be able to gain more ships that you can use on the board as well. So basically, at the beginning of the game, you're going to be rolling 4 dice, it shows here, and then you're going to have 2 ships, and you're going to have 0 points from your galaxy itself. So as you roll your 4 dice, you'll set the others to the side. You will basically choose how you want to put those dice out. The move ship abilities allow you to move a ship to a planet. You can do 2 things. You can either A, land on the planet and immediately gain whatever the special ability is. Like this would be gain a culture. This would be everybody moves a ship and you move 2 ships. So there's a bunch of different things here, or you pay 2 energy to move something up 2 on the tech thing. So if you land on a planet, then you're going to be basically immediately one time using the ability of that planet. Or you could land your ship on the actual planet itself and start trying to colonize the planet. That'll do a few things for you. Once you get it to the top of the colony track, which you'll have to then spend resources matching. So if I want to go to this tech one, I'd have to spend tech to push it up on the little track here. Once I push it up to the top space, I will then have colonized that planet. It will go into my little colonized planet area, and then I'm going to have 2 points, which is important because you're trying to get to 21 points to actually win the game. So you'll get 2 points for your galaxy there. And then also, whenever you take the galaxy action, you'll be able to trigger the ability on the card at that point. So there's a few reasons because you can kind of stack those and be able to trigger a whole bunch of abilities. But it is the first person to make it up to the top. So if I had taken that action to go there, and then taken this action to go over on this one maybe, and then use this one to push up on this one to push up on this one. An interesting thing is that other players can follow the actions that you've done. So another player could say, oh, I'm going to follow this. I'm going to spend my 1 culture. You can always spend culture to follow other people's actions, and then follow the placing the guy on the thing here. And then when they have their turn, maybe they roll enough of the tech symbols to be able to push up before me. But they'd have to be a little bit tricky because they would have to make sure my culture wasn't all the way out because I could follow culture and push it before them. There's a little bit of interesting strategy and things like that. We're kind of racing to go up the different tracks on these planets to colonize them to get points. Obviously, the ones with longer tracks have better special abilities or a whole bunch more points. Of course, you're trying to get to 21. Another thing here that's interesting, the follow action is very important in the game. So as you gain culture, you can spend culture to follow other people's actions. You can only follow the actions that are either in the first 3 spaces. So when you start with 4 dice, if I did these things, the one I did in the 4th space, no one would be able to follow. Or I can use the converter and be able to change dice around. Whenever they follow, it's kind of like in turn order, they activate and do those actions just like they had rolled the action themselves, which would be very crucial for taking extra actions. If you end up getting a bunch of culture, you can continue to take actions on other people's turns, and you can follow 1 thing each time they do it. And you basically have to determine when you're going to do it based on when they put their die on the activation bay there. You can also spend energy to re-roll all the dice not currently on your activation bay. So you could re-roll those to hopefully get a better result. If you're looking for something specific, maybe it helps you push along that track to get there faster. Maybe you really need to get the galaxy symbol because that allows you to upgrade your galaxy or trigger your galaxy abilities there. There's a bunch of different things you can do with that. If you roll energy, you just acquire energy. If you roll culture, you just acquire culture. So those things will help you be able to re-roll and to be able to follow actions. Also, these are the resources you need to upgrade your galaxy. So when you roll the upgrade galaxy, or this is kind of like activate your galaxy thing, you can do one of 2 things. You can either activate all of the planets that you've already colonized, or you can upgrade your little galaxy civilization there. The little arrow here, it very uniquely points to the number you need here. So I need 2. I'd have to spend 2 of the same resource to upgrade it. So if I had 2 energy, I could spend 2 energy. If I had 2 culture, I can spend the 2 culture, but it has to be all of the same thing. I can't spend 1 energy in 1 culture. It has to be all of 1 type. So then I can push this up here. Now I'd get 5 dice each turn. I still have 2 ships, and I have 1 point for winning the game. If I win again, then I'd have 5 dice and then 3 ships. So I'd have another ship I could put out there on the board, which would be important for activating different abilities and trying to colonize planets faster. And as you push this up, you're going to get more and more abilities and resources, and hopefully pushing up to the end where you have all 6 of your dice, all 4 of your ships, and 7 points, which of course helps you get to that 21, which you need to be able to collect from your planets and from your galaxy to be able to win the game. This game is pretty interesting with all of the follow mechanics and being able to have that low downtime as the game goes along. The fact that you're always paying attention on other people's turns to see what they're rolling makes it sort of unique. I really like that in a lot of Scott Holmes games where you're able to follow stuff. Tiny Epic Galaxies is a classic, and this is kind of like a version that is going to make it a little bit more accessible. It's pretty simple overall. That's kind of my little overview of it as you're trying to just take those things over. The first person to 21 wins, and that's basically how the game works. Let's see my thoughts. So I feel that Tiny Epic Galaxies is kind of renowned as one of people's most favorite out of the Tiny Epic series. And this is basically Gameling Games' attempt to make it a little bit more accessible, a little bit more friendly, maybe more mass market appeal for Tiny Epic Galaxies. And I think it really works. I mean, basically, they did a few things just to make it like a little bit cleaner and things like that, and it makes it kind of pop on the table a little bit more, and big chunkier wooden pieces for a bunch of different stuff. Mostly it feels like the same game for the most part. If you enjoy Tiny Epic Galaxies, this is basically going to give you basically the same thing as far as stuff goes. I mean, there's a few minor changes here and there, but nothing that's too crazy out of the ordinary. I enjoy these Tiny Epic games basically because their price point makes it so accessible for people. You know, you're able to get in there and play it, and I really enjoy the space theme. I mean, you're going out there colonizing planets. I love the follow action in the game, how you're able to build that up and kind of like building up your little galaxy and your little tableau of your different cards. There's a little bit more iconography in this, so there's a little bit less reading on stuff like that, but I felt like it was really simple and intuitive as far as all that stuff goes. I really enjoy this. I think this is definitely going to get a seal of approval for me. So yeah, if you like Tiny Epic Galaxies, you will know what this is basically already. This is basically a streamlined version, mostly basically the same game, but a cuter look for it, and that is Tiny Epic Galaxies Blast Off. Thanks so much for joining me here, and I'll see you on the next one.